Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something new. Something I've been following, and I want to talk about Revenger. Not Tokyo Revengers, Revenger. It's something a little new on the scene, and with that being said, Chico!
Hit explosions on
Let's get into this review. I'm excited about this series. It's pretty new to me, and so far in the beginning, it had a decent amount of action in it, and I could follow the story. The story ain't too, I would say, complex or crazy enough or anything like that. I could actually follow the story. It has a decent amount of action. It ain't too much going on. But we start out with this character called, I'm gonna just say his last name because you already know I butcher names. Kuruma. So Kuruma, he is set to marry this girl, right? And her father like gave the blessing and everything, and so he's basically engaged. So he's engaged, and he ended up at the very beginning, the first episode. Spoiler alert to anybody who wants to watch this. Spoiler alert. So, but at the beginning, he ended up killing his fiance's father. He killed his fiance's father because he deemed that it was lawful and about justice, because people who was conspiring against his fiance's father wanted him out the way. So they somehow convinced Kuruma that the fiance's father is doing illegal activity within like the nation, like super illegal activity in terms to warrant death. So Kuruma, being naive, he ended up believing, which I found a little bit weird. He ended up believing this other side instead of just coming to the father of his fiance, instead of just going to him or even going to his fiance about it and speaking to them about it before he did what he did. Because what he did was like crazy, to be honest. And it happened at the very first episode too. He slit the throat, cut people up, all types of that. And Kuruma, he's a samurai. Well, he was a samurai. He considers himself now not a samurai anymore. But he was a samurai, and that's why he acquired all them skills to know how to cut people up and all types of stuff. But yeah, he cut up his fiance's father, and then he realized once the people who convinced him that his fiance's father is evil, the people turned on him and tried to kill him. And then he realized then that, he was lied to and everything like that. And so for a while he couldn't face his fiance. And then once he built up enough courage to go see her and tell her what happened and stuff like that, she ended up killing herself because she thought that he was also dead too. So she basically fell into like this depression and killed herself. And he was just wandering, didn't know what to do. Well, Kuruma, he was just wandering, didn't know what to do. He was mourning. he was up. He was basically down. Like he was mourning both his fiance's father and his fiance. So he ended up getting approached by this guy. If I pronounce his name right, I'm saying his last name. His first name sounds a little bit difficult, but UCU, UCU, UCI, UCU. I'm gonna just say UCU. He ended up getting approached by him while Kuruma was, going through his depression and stuff like that. He ended up getting approached by UCU, and UCU is like I would say like the head of this type of group who goes around and get revenge for people who can't get revenge for themselves. So people basically pay them to go out and commit murder against people who did them wrong. Not the group wrong, but the people that's hiring them to do the job. So if that makes sense. But so Kuruma ends up getting approached by UCU, and UCU ends up talking to him and basically sort of like lifting his spirits. And Kuruma, he basically, like I said, he sort of got his spirits lifted. He sort of basically, like, he sort of came out a little bit out of like that depression type of state he was in when UCU found him. But yeah, after he did that, like I said before, the people who told him about his fiance's father, they ended up finding him and tried to kill him. And UCU's group saved Kuruma. So they saved Kuruma, and they ended up having him join the group. And I just found that so interesting, like how that whole thing played out. Because Kuruma was actually, like I said, wanted by the people who convinced him to kill his fiance's father. And those people were in high positions of power in that region. So they're looking for him, and they eventually, like I said, they found him. They tried to kill him. They thought he was dead, and then he ends up taking revenge on them with the help of UCU's group. So after that whole thing happened, they ended up joining together, and UCU basically was telling him, we help people get revenge on people that did them wrong. Like I said earlier about his group and what they do. And I feel like each member of like the group have like some sort of crazy story. They didn't reveal it in the first few episodes, but I feel like later on in the later episodes, they're gonna reveal like each person's background, I feel, on why they joined the group and why they did what they did and stuff like that, and the events leading on to them joining the group. But yeah, this seems like a pretty interesting anime so far. Like I have no complaints. Actually, no, I'm lying. The only complaint is that I feel like Kuruma, they made him like really naive at the beginning. Like all it took is for a group of people to get in his ear, and then he goes to swinging that sword and killing everybody, killing his whole fiance's father's whole group. So I feel like that was sort of my only issue. Like, he didn't go and just speak to his fiance or the fiance father, like try to confront him about illegal activities or anything like that. He just automatically just believed the other side and went on to slaughter his fiance's father's whole group, which I found like that's pretty crazy. You didn't even get the other side of any story. You just basically believed one side, and that was it. That's all it took for you to swing your sword. And the other people in Usuyu's group let him know that too. Like they was telling him, like, oh, so you're over here murdering your own people and expect us to accept you right away? But Usuyu wanted his group to accept him because he could be useful, and he didn't want Usuyu to basically just waste away. I mean, Usuyu didn't want Kuruma to basically just waste away with all his good talent and everything, for the sword. But yeah, his group, like certain people in that group, in Usuyu's group, let him know, like, what you did was foul. Like, that's messed up. Like, you didn't even try to hear the other side. You just naively just believe the opposite side. So that was probably like the only sort of like complaint I had about it. But other than that, it's pretty good. The story is interesting. It's easy to follow, and on top of that, the action is pretty good too. But yeah, that's like the basis of like the whole group. Like do they basically I feel like they basically just mercenaries for hire for people who got done wrong, basically. But yeah, this anime is shaping up to be pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad at all. And on top of that, like I said, it has plenty of action and entertaining type of. It's an entertaining type of beat. It's like a calm type of anime. Like, it's not too much and it's not too little. It's just in between, sort of like just right. But yeah, that's our review for Revenger. And also, don't forget to check out our previous reviews with My Hero Academia. That's like a 2-part review, and Vinland Saga. And also one of our latest reviews, which is Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. And we're out.